Hey guys, welcome back to the Homestead. This week we are cooking all sorts of wild food. We have some beautiful, fresh salmon roe that we just got on our dip knitting trip to the Copper River. We're also gonna whip up a new batch of goat cheese and smoke that too. And finally, we're gonna make a sourdough loaf over the coals of the fire and show you the lost art of cooking over a fire. So let's get to work. Okay, so on our dip knitting trip to the Copper River last week, we went remote, we took a boat in, we had a blast. We camped and we fished and we cooked over fires, and we came home with a blessed haul of so many salmon. And we use the entire fish. We don't let anything go to waste. We use the heads for stock, we dry the tails for the dogs, for their food for the year. We use the roe, the bellies. This roe is one of our absolute favorite parts of the fish. It is so good for you. It is a literal superfood, and it has been prized by ancient cultures around the globe for a very long time because of that. This is packed with vitamin D, DHA, omegas, protein. It is wonderful. So we are gonna go ahead and smoke this up in our smoker with the rest of this fish. We're gonna eat it. We're really excited. So I'm gonna go ahead and make a salt brine. It's super simple salt brine, just a cup of salt to about 7 cups of water. I'm gonna let these sit in there maybe an hour or so, maybe a half hour, because they're teeny beany pieces, but it's gonna be delicious. So I'm gonna get to making that salt brine, add my salt and my water. So I just keep the membrane on the egg sacs here, keeps them in a nice little package. Just hang them with string or right on the pegs in there, and it will smoke with the rest of the fish. It's a better way to preserve it, I think, because when you freeze the roe, it just doesn't really stay that good past about 2 months. But we're gonna smoke these, and then I think we're gonna eat them with some goat cheese, because the goats have been on beautiful pasture and they're getting lots of milk. That's a big one, huh? Wow. This is beautiful. These will smoke for maybe 2-ish hours. I'm not really concerned with cooking it all the way through. I really just want the flavor. Sometimes we will just salt and brine these raw and eat them like that. But this is gonna give it some really good flavor. And then when we go to vacuum seal this roe afterwards, it's gonna stay a lot better. Okay, we had previously brined these. So these are just gonna go straight on here. I just kind of lay them over the peg. And then I think we're gonna start with this roe, get this roe nice and smoked up, maybe for like an hour, and then we're gonna throw our cheese on, because I want it to be a nice cold kind of smoke for that cheese so it doesn't melt too much. Maybe smoke the cheese for like a half hour-ish, 40 minutes. Just enough to get a good smoky flavor. These are so pretty. We love smoked roe. Right there's good. Okay. So good. Okay, those are all set. We are gonna smoke these for a couple hours, and then we're gonna throw our cheese in here too. But these look beautiful. We're gonna let these get going. All right, we are going to start a batch of goat cheese to smoke with our roe. Goat cheese is super easy. We make it a lot, of course, because we have our goats and all this beautiful goat milk. So we actually decided to smoke this goat cheese because you guys gave us this idea in the comments, which was an awesome idea. A lot of you suggested to smoke the cheese when we did our cheese making video, and that is great. Great idea. I can totally get behind that. All right, I'm just gonna put it on like medium. Just gently kind of heat it, and then our thermometer is broken, so I'm just gonna go by touch here to see when about 86 comes along, and at that point we'll add our cheese cultures. Daisy gives us about a half a gallon in the morning and a half a gallon at night. She's doing really, really great, and really wonderful creamy milk. Strawberry gives us like a pint, about a pint a day, but we like Mary. We call her coffee creamer. Okay, this is about 86 degrees. I think I'm just gonna throw my packet of cheese cultures in here and let it rehydrate a couple minutes before I stir it in. That's it, that's all you do for the first step. And once that rehydrates for a couple minutes, I'm just gonna whisk it in, cover this, and let it sit somewhere warm for about 6 to 12 hours. All right, it's been 2 minutes. I'm gonna stir this up. Caps on it. We are just gonna put this somewhere warm, and then I will visit this tomorrow morning. Our goat cheese went overnight. It's time to ladle the curds into this little bowl lined with cheesecloth, and then I like to just hang it and let it drip. And then it's gonna do that for about 4 to 6 hours, and then it's gonna be ready to eat. Really simple, delicious cheese. All right, so we're gonna save all this whey, which is the byproduct of cheese making. It's really good in soups and smoothies, and you can make things like ricotta with it. Also put it in your sourdough loaves. So we are not gonna waste that at all. Whey can also help you inoculate your fermentation products too with lacto fermentation, so it's handy for that. This is just gonna sit for 4 to 6 hours, and then I will come back here and shape my goat cheese. This goat cheese is ready to be shaped into logs. We are so excited to try smoking this with our roe. I think it's gonna be really good. It smells great. Lena, you want a little bit?
Yeah.
Here, you taste the first bit.
Yeah.
Yum. All right, I'm just gonna cut this in 2 different logs and then shape them, put them in a baggie, and let them kind of firm up overnight in our cooler, get nice and cold. And then we're gonna cold smoke, or try to cold smoke this with the roe, because I don't want it to get super hot in the smoker, because I think it'll just melt and get really, really soft. So we're gonna cut this in half, shape them up, and then throw them in the cooler. Nice. All right, this one's done, and my little helper is gonna help me roll out the next one. Good job, Lena.
The best goat cheese ever.
Lena loves goat cheese. If you've never had goat cheese, it just kind of tastes like a ricotta or a mascarpone. It's just really good. Okay, keep it folded. Yep. Just tuck it right in. Okay, we will see these again in the smoker tomorrow. Okay, we are going to make a sourdough loaf over the fire. This starter is somewhat past its peak, but we're gonna try it anyway. I think she'll still be able to give us a good loaf. So I just have my active or semi-active starter here. I use about a cup. You know your starter's active when it's bubbly. It will tell you when it's active. It will kind of cling to the jar. This one was bubbly, somewhat clingy, but it's definitely peaked and almost going the other way. So we'll see how this goes. And then I add about 2 cups of just room temp water. Sometimes mine is even a little bit colder. And then mix it up and do it really well, because the more you mix that starter in the water, the better the loaf I find turns out. But I just mix them up really good and then add about a tablespoon of salt in here too and just mix that in as well. And then all I'm gonna do for the rest of this loaf, or for the first step for this loaf, is just add about 4 cups of flour to this and mix it with a spoon until a shaggy dough forms. And that's it, no kneading at all. That's it. This is gonna go somewhere warm in about an hour and a half to 2 hours. I will do my first stretch and fold on this.
I think Barry's in a good mood. Do you think so too, Dada? That tiny crystal. The tiniest.
Alright, I'm going to do my first stretch and fold, which is just taking the dough and folding it over itself. I like to do it about 4 times, or I'll turn it 4 times. And then I'm going to wait another half hour and do it again. Wait another half hour, maybe do it 1 to 2 more times after that, each separated by a half hour. Then I will see this again in a half hour. Okay, we are gonna do a trial run with one of the logs of goat cheese that we made. I semi-froze this to try to firm it up before we put it in there, and then we're gonna try to keep the smoker very, very cool. But I'm gonna throw this on a piece of parchment on top of a cookie sheet to try to keep this all together while it smokes. All right, let's head out to the smoker. Yeah, right. First love berries. Ooh, nice. The smoker's working good. Very good temperature in here. I think this will be great. All right. Cheese is in. We are gonna shut this smoker, let it go for another hour or so, and then we'll come check it. Ooh. This looks really good. It smells really good. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be great. Might fall apart. What do you think?
Half smoked, half like a fish egg.
So this roe looks really, really good. Smoked roe is delicious. I'm gonna try a little bit of this cheese myself. Whoa. That is really good. Oh my gosh, what a great idea you guys had. I'm gonna leave this in here to kind of smoke just a tiny bit more as we build the fire. That is great. You want another piece, Lee?
I can take my own.
Wow. That's delicious. Really excited for that. Okay, so this is doing wonderful. We are gonna shut the door, let this keep smoking.
But it's still gonna be a playtime.
Okay, so we are gonna go start our fire, but I'm going to shape our loaf. It takes about an hour to rest after you shape it, so I'm thinking that should go good with the amount of coals we need to burn down in the meantime. And I just take my loaf here. It's been maybe 3 to 4 hours since my last stretch and fold. I don't get real technical with it at all. I just like to wet my hands and lightly wet the work surface. It makes it less sticky to work with. I just kind of shape it into a rectangle and fold it up in thirds like a letter and then roll it. Roll it up. I just kind of scoot it around with the edge of my hand. I'm sure there's a more professional way to do this or shape a loaf. This is just what we do. So this Dutch oven is not actually the correct Dutch oven to bake in, but I think it'll work good too. I'm gonna take my mixing bowl and line it with parchment. And then I'm gonna put this back in here. And then it's gonna rest in there because my Dutch oven is gonna get nice and heated over the coals in the meantime too. So I'm gonna just kind of keep this nice and tight. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna throw a dish towel on top of this, take it outside with us while we build a fire, and also my Dutch oven, and then in about an hour it will be ready to bake. All right, we are going to go start our fire and get a good bit of coals in. She loves being in the goat pen. She does.
I don't know, maybe another 45 minutes or so we should have a good bit of coals. It's gonna take a minute.
Nothing's always clean.
Yeah, changing moods.
Just like the seed. If you cook it in the oven, it's 450 for 20 minutes with the lid on, 20 with it off. And the trick to cooking with a fire is to have a really good bed of coals. You're not actually going to use the fire, but the coals to cook. And somebody had sent me a book from the channel that I thought was just so neat. It was 1,000 years over a hot stove. And it was the history of women and cooking, all the way from primitive hunter-gatherers cooking over fires, using sticks, to, the frontier days and going to the frontier and how they'd cook on wagons, which was really interesting. Gave me inspiration to take my Dutch oven out and cook over the fire. So this is going to be good. I think I'm going to spread the smoked goat cheese on top of it and then top it with broth.
It's gonna be delicious.
Yeah. Alright, so first things first, I'm just going to throw my Dutch oven on here, get it kind of warmed up. We get a lot of questions about what kind of dog Birch is, and she is a mix. She's a Central Asian Shepherd and an Anatolian Shepherd mix. We got her from a wonderful working homestead up by Fairbanks, and we couldn't be happier with her. She's great. Both of those breeds are wonderful livestock guardian dogs, and they're also great with large predators, really good with children. She's incredibly tempered, just perfect. Perfect mix of sweet and gentle, but protective. Make my nest here. So they have cast iron Dutch ovens with lids specifically to put your coals on. I don't have one of those. I just flip my lid upside down so I could put the coals on here, and it's gonna work just fine, I think. This is ready to come off. I'm gonna scoot her off here. Woo! All right. Might be a little hot on the coals, but this still looks good. Her out of here. Ooh. All right. There you go. With that lid, it squished the top down, but I think this is still gonna be delicious. Let's go try a little bit of this with our smoked goat cheese and roe. Just in time. I think it's gonna rain. We are gonna grab our goat cheese and our roe. Open our screens. Just gonna grab a couple pieces of this roe. All right, that'll probably do us. And the smoked goat cheese. Okay. We're ready to try this. Lena, you want the first slice?
Yes.
All right, Lena. Actually, looks pretty good.
The bread came out really good. Smoked cheese is awesome. It's a great combination. That's really good. It's the first time we've ever smoked our own goat cheese, which I don't know why. That's a great idea.
Yeah, it is.
Awesome. This is really good.
Yeah, it came out great.
It goes perfect with roe.
That is awesome. That is really good. The bread, when it came out, I was worried it got a little too hot, but it's almost perfect on the inside. All right, that was absolutely delicious. We would definitely do that again, but it's pretty late. It's almost 9 o'clock, so we're gonna get inside, get Lena to bed, and call it a night. Hey guys, this is Amy and Dennis from Holdfast, Alaska. We are a small family living in the eastern interior, building a subsistence homestead.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed that video, and we'll see you on the next one.